You get stuck in the book you are reading now. How badly are you screwed? I am reading an interesting history book about the Battle of Stalingrad from the German perspective. I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know who wins or loses. So if I get sucked in on the German side, I don't know how screwed I would be. Pretty screwed. I don't speak French, and I'll stick out like a sore thumb in late 1700s Switzerland. Plus, no running water, and it gets extremely cold in winter. On the other hand, maybe I can avert the coming tragedy by interfering with the main characters a bit. I'd be stuck in Wandsworth prison, doing 5 years for tax fraud. It's called A Bit of a Stretch, by Chris Atkins. It's pretty good. He has a nice right sense of humor about what must have been the lowest part of his life. Well, I'm currently reading Neil Shusterman's The Toll, so I think I'll be alright, but I'm only on page like 120 or something like that, so I'm not sure how huge the problems get. After all, I can and do live without some super daily, so that won't be a problem, so I'll probably just go about my business until someone does everything for me to solve it, then do something interesting. Well, I'm reading Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It's basically about a boy who thinks he is normal till he finds out he's a person with strange abilities. He finds this out when he finds a loop, basically a pocket dimension that replays the same day over and over again. Only peculiars can enter and they don't age in these loops. The boy, Jacob, has the ability of seeing hologhosts, gained invisible monsters who work for whites who want to steal all the peculiar's abilities. Two things could happen if I was in the book. If I was a peculiar, I'd probably end up living and thriving. However, if I was a normal human, I wouldn't even interact with the characters because normals have no idea about the whites or peculiars. I'm reading Humble Pie by Matt Parker. It's a book about math errors in real life. So, I'm where I already am. Normal on Earth. Yeah, pretty screwed. Pretty badly, because my most recently read book isn't fiction and therefore I can't be a character in it, so I must be stuck in it like a pressed flower instead. Help, help, I'm still alive in here. I'm slightly less than halfway through reading Francis Bacon's essays, Civil and Moral from the Harvard Classics, Volume 3. It also contains The New Atlantis by Bacon, Areopagitica and the Tractate on Education by John Milton, and Religio Medici, The Religion of a Doctor, by Thomas Brown. Warhammer 40k, War of the Beast Omnibus Code number 2. It's the greatest wag in all of Warhammer 40k. Even Gakal's one is weak as shit by comparison. Dozens of worlds were obliterated. Hundreds and thousands more occupied, entire space marine orders are eradicated, and a fucking artificial moon with a giant dwarfish animated face appeared over Terra, Earth. Oh god, I'm so fucking dead. I'm so fucking dead it ain't even funny. The magic system in the Stormlight Archive is based primarily on a spirit bonding with an individual to further their emotional growth, making people with depression or other mental illnesses or trauma prime candidates, with progression based on progress in their lives. Case in point, the main kind of character has depression and had to come to terms with various shortcomings before being able to grow. My point in saying this is that as a person with depression struggling to be a better person, partially inspired by this series actually, I'd have a shot at getting the magic powers to fight off evil crab people. Well shit, I'm now a 14 years old and I have the opportunity to save galaxies with many missions to go on. I fly around in a space cruiser shaped like a swan. I have two teammates, Corona and Lan. The book is called Swans in Space. Screwed pretty bad, I'd think. I'm currently reading Seven Eves by Neil Stevenson. For those that don't know, in this book, Earth's moon is destroyed and rains lunar debris on planet Earth and causes a global cloud to surround the planet for 5,000 years. Reality is being warped by dark forces underneath Hollywood. A failed wizard who became an actor and a grouchy talking dog are the ones saving the day. Everyone else is completely under the thrall of the enigma that is Hollywood. The influence of Hollywood has become a worldwide phenomenon and almost everyone is consumed by it. So I'd probably be fucked because I can guarantee that I'd be under the influence of the moving pictures. That's the name of the book, BTW. Moving Pictures. It's by Terry Pratchett and is one of his earlier Discworld novels. I recommend all of his work, but there are like 42 Discworld novels. They can be read in whatever order, but reading in order of publication is the best way because past events are referenced and specific pieces of lore are revealed in each. They're also very, very funny. Edit. Here's some context as to why I'm asking this. I would never be able to read a great many books because of things like slow, drawn-out suicides, violent incidents or whatever. I'm also somewhat scared of having some of my most basic ideas and values subverted by someone's writing. That is, I don't really know how to protect myself from influences I find unsavory. For example, shit like Nazism or misogynist. Here's evidence that women are meant to be in the kitchen or similar things. Though this isn't so likely to happen in proper books as much as on the internet. I almost gave up near the end of The Kite Runner, bathtub scene or something, and suffered from a morbid fear or having something happen to my wrists accidentally for a long time. So, as much as I want to read, say, A Clockwork Orange, I can't. I'll just feel sick for a month. What things are like this for you? Currently reading Driven to Distraction, a book about understanding and tips for controlling ADHD in your daily life. As someone who is diagnosed with ADHD, this doesn't sound too bad, as long as I could bring my wife with me, of course. Marooned in Real Time by Werner Vinge. I am marooned millions of years in the future on a deserted Earth, knowing there is no possibility of rescue. There's a small group of my friends in a stasis bubble, frozen in time, but I'll be long dead by the time they come out and find my bones. In other words, I'm totally screwed. I'm among the last living humans. The Earth is done and we haven't found a reliable replacement. We're in deep space. Internal conflict is tearing our race apart, but at least the spiders are doing well. Reading 2, The Hobbit, currently walking across the countryside, so all good. Also in my other book, the Razak are attacking my village and eating villagers down to the bone. We're sending the women and children to the forest to be safe, but as a man, I'm expected to fight for Carvajal. I'm an Earthman in the world of Barsoom. I think that everything depends on exactly where I land. But I'm probably a fair amount stronger than almost anyone else I meet. I just need to avoid the more dangerous people and animals and I should survive. Reread of Lady Slings the Bruise, by Spider Robinson. Not screwed at all, modern day, except all sorts of weird shit happens in the shadows. There's a work orgy. Now, if I happen to be involved with Lady Sally's place, rather than just live in the world where it existed, I'd be a very happy man, not just content or okay or fine, well and truly happy. I'm reading The Fall of Hyperion. I haven't finished it yet, but from the looks of it humanity is on the road to extinction, and it's going to be a violent and short trip, unless there's some massive twist. Best case scenario is a tiny remnant survives to rebuild. Odds of me being in that remnant are basically nil. 100 pages into Misery by Stephen King, and I don't think things would look better anytime soon. Under the control of a dangerous woman with OCD, bipolar, schizoid and schizophrenia, and most important of all, I'm not her favorite author, so totally screwed I guess. If my own writing counts, I'm okay. My butt is gonna be sore though. Do with that as you will XD. But if not, then The Hobbit and Rivendell. I'm not screwed, but I would have to learn some new swordplay. I train with Katana and Viljakin, Tenin Rishinru, and full contact sparring practice using bamboo kendo swords or wooden training swords. Also with recurve bows, not with long swords or axes. Oh man, I'm pretty fucked. Doctor, a Spanish conquistador is abandoned in 1528 southern Florida, and has to walk to Texas. Many native tribes don't take kindly to him. Doctor, asshole conquistador has a real bad time. A land so strange, the epic journey of Cabo de Vaca. I'm currently reading the third book of Larry Corralia's Saga of the Forgotten Warrior. As someone who has no family ties to anyone there and probably unable to speak the language, I'd likely be considered casteless, which is bad enough. They're given the worst chores and it's literally legal to murder them with no consequences. Slaves are higher status than casteless, but the large part of the plot involves a pogrom to wipe the casteless out entirely, so I'd either be dead or treated like shit. Well, I'm reading 2 books, but still am screwed either way. A world where you have multiple sets of parallel memories but you don't know which are real and which are false, and a world where demons are set loose by angels to cause despair. In return they provide demonic powers for those who are ready to sacrifice their loved ones, just in order selfishly escape the harsh reality and fulfill their deepest and darkest desire, leading to more despair. Well, I am either on a sentient spaceship that wants to explore an exigent anomaly, and I'm pregnant, have been for 40 years give or take, or I'm sent the hell drunk on a planet I own, having my memories of war stripped from my former exosuit, while the high-end royalty of the Elder Worlds search for me to put me back in my place. I'm reading a book by a relationship counselor called Hold Me Tight, 7 Conversations for a Lifetime of Love. Excellent book, but would be terrible to be cycling through vignettes of other couples' counseling sessions with the author's voiceover. I'd be fucked. No world building, no interaction, only vignettes. At least one of the couples likes to go salsa dancing. Maybe the studio exists in the universe, but maybe it doesn't, since it was only mentioned. Got to crack another book just in case. Horror Store, by Grady Hendrix. So I'm stuck inside a haunted IKEA knockoff with the ghosts of prisoners and their deranged warden who wants to cure me. Well, crap. I'm reading 2 atmospheres. In one I'll be stuck in a spaceship with people who are about to get into deep SHT and maybe save entire universe at the end or die trying. Other one is in the middle age kind of world but also with a lot of different gods manipulating humans for fun and all kind of magic present and a lot of things wanting to rob and or kill you. So I guess I take the first one. I'm reading Mark of the Raven, so very screwed. Pretty sure I'd be sucked into a scene with the main character and her mom, if I'm remembering where I left off correctly. They both carry weapons, and have the ability to go into people's dreams and murder them, so I'm definitely dead. I'm into I Heard You Paint Houses, which is the book that The Irishman was based on. I'd actually have some legit chances to make real money, not just bullshit day job money. I don't work for an owner who to put it mildly, have no respect for whatsoever as a human being. Yeah, man, sign me the fuck up. I'm not Italian, but I'll fake it. Pride and Prejudice. I might be able to fake being upper crust, but will most likely have to be a lady's maid or governess. Of course, I could sensationalize the ton by being my crazy American self, a woman wearing pants. How scandalous, before I get the cut direct and make my way back to early 1800s US. I'm a 30-year-old male who is reading The Proud Tower, which covers the social, economic, and political movements in the decades preceding WWI. Good thing I don't live in Europe, I just have an economy-crippling depression to look forward to in a few years. Until then, party on. I'm stuck in a medieval fantasy Spain world with magic, knights and all the jazz. Oh, and dinosaurs. The knights ride dinosaurs instead of horses, and dinosaurs regularly hunt people and giant angels kill people indiscriminately. I'm reading 2 The Lost City of the Monkey God is a non-fiction book taking place in the jungle in Honduras. I will probably die. The Galaxy and the Ground Within is a nice wholesome sci-fi book. I will be making friends and explaining to the aliens why cheese is delicious and they should try some. Book 4 Lost Cities, A Secret History of the Urban Age by Annelien Newitz, non-fiction. Based on the section I'm currently reading, I'm in real life 10th 13th century Angkor, capital of the Khmer Empire. I'm probably a peasant farmer. Life could definitely be a lot worse, but I work very hard. I'm reading autobiography of a yogi. It's early days, so still in India. I hope I like the food. I'll certainly get good at meditation and maybe even become enlightened, if I don't catch dysentery or yellow fever. That is, but maybe my guru will heal me. Overall, I think I'm not screwed. I'm actually in the process of reading 2 books, but the one I read from most recently is Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. So considering the dry nature of the material and the absolute lack of any sort of world to be in, I'd say I'm pretty screwed, just drifting about in a cloud of ethical discussion. I'm scared. I'm reading a book from 2008 about the everyday effects of the Israeli occupation of the West Bank on the Palestinian population: starvation and soaring food prices, cut off from access to agricultural plots and water resources, vegetables rotting on trucks because IDF won't let people with valid permits cross just because, children with cancer in ambulances not being let through checkpoints even when accompanied by Red Cross equivalent workers, and all adults having the necessary, expensive, permits. It sounds like an absolute hellscape. I'm either on Kaladin's bridge crew, RIP me, in Daliner's army, but I don't want to follow the stupid codes. Also that Sadas guy is a total dickhead, or somehow otherwise involved in Shallan/Jasna's storyline. Maybe I'm just chilling in Kharbranth. That would be cool, a beautiful seaside city. Way of Kings. Not at all screwed. I haven't had time for reading lol. Edit. Last book I read was The Odyssey. I'd be fucked prob cause I suck at following directions. Besides that prophecy, Odysseus Scott would go through one ear and then out the other with me, and I'd be dead with the others after eating the siren's cattle. Well, I'd be in Dharamshala, where the Dalai Lama lives. I'd be surrounded by a top-notch chef, bookstore managers and maitres looking for the meaning of life, with teachers and wise and experienced people making regular appearances. Oh, and I'd be a cat. The Dalai Lama's cat to be precise. I think that beats my current situation. The Murderbot Diaries. Since I'm currently reading Fugitive Telemetry, I suppose I'd be on preservation, which is hands down the best place to be in the entire Murderbot universe. I think. Free food, free lodgings, free healthcare, everyone is inclusive and mental health gets great importance, and there's internet and friendly robots. Also chance of assassins from evil corporations, but I'm not important enough to be a target probably, so it'll be fine. I'm reading Rebecca, so I guess I get to hang out, for at least a little while, on some gorgeous English estate, but the housekeeper is a real drag, and the owner might have murdered his first wife, kind of a brooder. Not super nice to be around most of the time. Also it gets set on fire at the conclusion of the novel, so I suppose by the end I'm homeless. 2/10 pretty fucked. So, either I'm on a suicide mission, with not even half the wit of the protagonist, so the mission fails and everyone dies, or I'm not on that suicide mission, in which case the sun is fading, Earth is becoming a hellhole, and the living envy the dead. It's a lit RPG. As a longtime gamer and fan of RPGs, I'm probably less screwed than the protagonist of the book, who is trying to be stealthy but keeps shouting and screaming, sees a herb, successfully harvests it, shouts for joy. Shattered Sword, T.J. Reynolds. I'm only about 30% in and it's not awful. Well, a superflu just wiped out most of the global population. The devil and God are raging inside me, each have an emissary sent to try turn the tide of humanity in the aftermath, and a sexy, scary young woman and less sexy, scary young man are fixing to explode the main decision makers on the God side before running off to join the other folks.